Okay, hold on. A minute, view. You want the full, wait a minute, hold on. I don't want that screen. There we go. You guys can see it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, my name is Darlene McLeod. I'm actually going to welcome Jen. Jen's probably got her camera on, and Sahar. The three of us work with Immigrant Services Calgary. So Jen's going to introduce the history of the company a little bit, and then I'm going to dive into our program that we offered, because we were a pilot project that started just last year, and we housed ourselves in the Genesis, but we have moved to the wonderful Families Matter program area, and we're looking forward to it. So I'll let Jen start. And I think, Sahar, you have your camera on too? Yeah. So I'd like to introduce my wonderful team, Sahar and Jen.
Perfect. Thanks, Darlene. Hi, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. Today, we're really happy to talk about the Early Learning Across Cultures program and introduce you to a little bit more of what we do. This is, as Darlene mentioned, a bit of a new program. Started late 2019, but now we're really happy that we're going to be able to offer this program for the next 3 years with the FRN Hub and Spoke model. So Early Learning Across Cultures is part of Immigrant Services Calgary. My job today is the very dry and boring role of telling you a little bit more about Immigrant Services Calgary as a whole. So ISC has been working with Calgary newcomer population for over 40 years. And even though our services and our programs have changed over the years, we're still dedicated to supporting our clients to reach their full potential as they settle in Canada. Go to the next slide, Darlene. So ISC is comprised of 5 service delivery departments, each providing targeted support for newcomers, and our total program and service delivery count, I don't know, I said that weird, but you know what I'm saying. It's over 30 different programs and services that we offer right now. Nope, go back, not done.
Sorry.
That's okay. So our first one is, one of our first departments is Settlement and Community Center. This is where newcomers can get needs assessments and any information supporting their access to resources related to employment, housing, finance, health, whatever they need in terms of their immediate and long-term needs. Our newcomer planners can help. We've also got our Interpretation and Translation Center, which is aptly named because it provides interpretation and translation in over 70 languages. So if you need help with interpretation and translation, give us a call. We've also got the Therapy and Support Center, where we offer affordable clinical counseling services available in first languages. We've got the Family Resources Center, which houses Early Learning Across Cultures, and we offer many different programs to support the entire family, infants, children, youth, and caregivers. And lastly, we've got the Language Assessment Center. This is where clients can take an assessment to receive their Canadian language benchmarks, and we also provide support in accessing education opportunities in Calgary and Alberta. Now it's time for a shameless plug. We've got the Welcome to Alberta app that's launched earlier this year. What the app is a place for pre and post-arrival newcomers to access information that can help them during their settlement process. So this is easy to use and easy to access. It can be downloaded on the App Store or on Google Play, as you can see. So everybody download today, and please recommend to your clients. And this is us. This is the team. So my name's Jen, as Darlene mentioned. I do a lot of the administrative and supportive work behind the scenes for Darlene and Sahar to do their amazing facilitation work. And they're gonna pass the mic off to Darlene so she can provide more information about the program.
Okay, so as Jen was stating, our program started as a pilot project last year. I got hired in August of 2019, and our first funder was Employment and Social Development Canada. The partners that we used throughout the year, and I'll get into depth about the program after. I just wanted to thank all of our partners. A lot of our partners, we ran a program last year on Tuesdays and Fridays for 3 to 5 year olds. And what happened is we found it ended up being sort of an obstacle, but it turned out to be an amazing change in our program, because we had Fridays where a lot of the siblings had no school on Fridays. So they would come to us on Fridays as a family. So we were able to incorporate a lot of family activities. So we got Clay for Kids in, and a lot of the clients had an opportunity to design a clay pot, and then Clay for Kids fired it and gave it to them as a gift. And they loved that kind of stuff. We got Green Calgary in. So a lot of our presentations that we did on a Friday for the families was geared towards the older siblings. So what ended up happening is we became a family program. So as you know, we run for 3 to 5 year olds. We're a free program running out of ISC, Immigrant Services. Our first priority is the landed immigrants and the people that have been in Canada or Calgary for less than 5 years. But we do have some people who are in our program that have been in Calgary longer, but they still feel that the culture. So what we do is we allow people to discuss their cultures of origin and use that in our planning. So in designing my curriculum, and I designed it in the August of 2019, we designed it from the 3 curriculums: Flight, Raised Between Cultures, and Strengthening Families. You can ask me or Jen or Sahar for the framework. This summer in July, we actually designed a framework that highlighted the whole year. What I did though is I made sure that there was something measurable. So we did outcomes and domains. But the biggest piece that we noticed was we talked to the parents about, we surveyed them when they arrived, and we asked, what are you interested, what do you want to learn? And a lot of what they wanted to learn was parenting skills, strategies, finding out what was happening, how Calgary School Board works, things like that. But we based everything on play-based centers and allowed the parents. So this is kind of a timeline of our actual project. We started in August designing the curriculum. In September, October 4th was our first session at the Genesis Center. And we went through a lot of referrals, walk-ins, things like that, because we were a new program to Calgary. A lot of people didn't know what we were offering. They didn't understand, well, what are you gonna do? Is this a preschool? Can I drop my child off? Can I wave them goodbye? And we were like, no, 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 no. This is a family kind of thing. What we did is we offered the playtime for the child, but we also modeled and designed workshops for the parents. Most of my workshops ran together with the class while it was running, but they were mostly on Friday. We found when the parents first arrived, the typical was they came in, they sat on their cell phones, and they kind of wanted to chat as parents. And we said, no, we don't want that. We want to get them interactive. We want to get them learning how to play. So we did a lot of training on the brain story and serve and return, and we did a lot of modeling. So we would show them, nope, come on over, we're having a tea party in the home center, or dramatic play, or nope, over here you're going to talk about small, medium, and large, or sink and float, you know, and we got the parents involved in the play. And like I say, the biggest success really was that we had the family, we had the siblings. So we also had grandparents, uncles, we had a lot of the family coming and participating. The other huge focus was multicultural. So when we got the parents in the beginning, we surveyed them from what countries they were from and what celebrations they would have been celebrating in their homeland. So we did Diwali, we did Ramadan, we did Eid, we did, they loved the potlucks when they could bring all their cultural foods. Obviously this happened before COVID. And then when we went virtual, we continued, but we still had Eid celebrations and Ramadan celebrations in Zoom, and we continued with the parents. And then another success was that we were moving the parents towards them having cafe play dates and things like that. And they actually designed a Zoom classroom for July and August when Sahar and I were not running the program. So they took on ownership, and that happened quite a bit. And the parents are eager to take on, they did Scholars Choice classes in the summer. They did Small Worlds. They did all these other things. So the parents really got involved with what was education, what was learning for children at that age, and what the ages and stages, what would work. So this just kind of shows what the demographics of what we had. That was last year. And you can see that we celebrated anything that came in any of those countries. So we celebrated the Pakistan, Sahar, you're gonna have to help me out. It was a birthday. We did a dance and celebration. The Nepal had a celebration and the people, the uncle came and he danced. We did Chinese New Year. We did all the different festivities and foods and things like that. So we talked a lot about the culture, and then we also started to, a lot of the people don't know about Canadian culture. So we always also sprinkled into it the Canadian culture, Thanksgiving, the history, you know, why do we have these holidays here in Canada? Why do we have these festivities like Remembrance Day, things like that? We shared with them the history. And again, kind of talked to them about the school boards and the school systems and how they're different, that their curriculum, they can't get into all the diversity of the cultures. So you're not going to have a holly festival probably in school, but we did. We got powder and we had a holly festival, and the kids got to sprinkle holly. And one of the mothers was so happy because she said she felt like she was back in her homeland. So again, I'm kind of saying it again. What we did is we held workshops. The children played, but the biggest change was we got the parents involved in the play. And we also linked them to a lot of different resources. Like I said, Scholars Choice this summer, even though we moved, you know, our funder was ending in March, and we continued with the new funder and moved into April. We just transitioned right into Zoom. We didn't have really a lag time, and we have connected through the parents through a WhatsApp community of learners. And that was a big link to the community that we had developed, because things like the hailstorm, a lot of the immigrants, they didn't know what to do during the hailstorm. So they talked to us and we were able to communicate, things like that. And again, we noticed a difference in the play, even on Zoom. Parents were, because we did book themes like the Hungry Caterpillar, we themed a lot of our units. The parents were using those books inside the home and then sharing with us when the kids were reading them. We did handouts of literacy kits. We also had free zoo trips in the summer here that we allowed the parents to go. So another thing that we can help them with is, you know, those they financially don't have the income. We also did Telespark this summer. The kids, some of our families got free laptops and got access into Telespark summer camp. So we've always connected them to outside, whatever's going on outside in the city, but we also have always been a sounding board for them and what they needed. And again, we did the COVID crisis, we did COVID financial, how to apply for COVID relief, things like that. So, but from October to March, we took what they wanted. So I did a lot of parenting workshops on ages and stages, positive parenting, things like that. A lot of the stuff you guys are offering is very similar, but it sounds like we can blend together and collaborate. That's why the eco map sounds so interesting. And the other one, that star one you were talking about, because I think that's the thing, is we want to get the people to branch, to build their community. And most of our programs are referrals at the moment. So again, what I had shared is a big change was literacy. We had library field trips. They went to the library, they learned about Libby. And a great example was one of our clients, just during COVID, the program was ending in March, but just in April, she moved to Quebec. And she did a presentation on Ramadan, and she actually used the Calgary Library Libby program. So she went online and she used those services through the Calgary Library. And like I say, I've really noticed, I think Sahar can enhance and say more too, but in our Zoom lessons, we've really noticed an interest in the reading and the literacy, and a change in the play. The kids are doing some STEM projects, things like that. So we saw a change in the parents and we saw growth in the students. This is just, I surveyed the parents, my curriculum, I'll get into it in a minute. I had five outcomes that I wanted to measure with the parents. In November, I measured them to ask what they felt they had in knowledge of parenting and health, confident tools. And this is just an easy graph of what I questioned them in: emerging, developing, and mastery. So if they felt they were emerging, they didn't know a lot, they scored the 1. If they felt they had more growth, then they scored a 2 and then a 3. And as you can see, the knowledge of parenting and health issues, because we did units on healthy eating, healthy lifestyle in the classroom and with the parents. We also had a volunteer come in who was a doctor in Saudi Arabia who'd moved to Canada. And so she was able to relate to the clients culturally. So my curriculum was based on 30, I just designed 34 outcomes. So every domain, all 5 domains have different outcomes. And then, like I said, the children were scored in mastery, developing, and emerging. So some of what we focus on, what we do or what we give to the client, is we get them a little bit ready for kindergarten. It's like, it's not meant as a pre-K, but the EDI was part of our funding. And so we allowed parents to understand the areas that they needed for kindergarten. And we did have 5 students move into kindergarten, so we transitioned them into kindergarten. And then a lot of our children repeat because they were only 3 years old last year. So our lesson plans were planned according to our outcomes. And this is just a graph of what we measured in our measuring. And again, it was based on emerging, developing, and mastery. And we would watch and observe with kid watching notes and assessments, and then be able to track where the students were at. Unfortunately, we tracked it to March, and then that was where we were, like I said, our pilot project was going to end with the funding, but then in April, we went to Zoom. So we've changed this a bit for Zoom, and we've actually added phase 2 and phase 1. So the framework we did in July looks a little different than what we're going to use this year, but we're tailoring it because you need to adapt it to your clients and adapt it to your students. And I'm going to pass it to Zahar, who was the teacher. We started with 2 teachers, and then we went down to 1 teacher. But this is what we did in the Genesis classroom, just kind of show you the center approach learning.
Thank you, Darlene. So Darlene did go over a lot of things, but I would just to take this opportunity to share some photos and just have a little peek in our classroom environment and talk a little bit about the planning of our themes as well as our virtual community. So our classroom on wheels was set up into a meaningful learning environment where children's interests were valued when setting up centers and themes with multilingual signs and posters. We encourage caregivers to guide play, and our snack and craft time were popular for times for interaction in home languages, creating a family-centered approach of community and belonging. So this is a photo from one of our cultural celebrations, Diwali, a Hindu festival where families were invited to dress up and share their cultural clothes, music, and food from their home countries.
And they loved potluck. That's part of their culture. Yeah. Can't do it in COVID, but we'll be adapting.
Yeah. Lesson planning, my biggest focus when creating lessons is creating lessons that value multiculturalism and also creating connections. Caregivers are an important part of our planning, especially our cultural celebrations where not only families get to share about their including Canadian heritage and holidays. The outcome of this is families feel more connected and valued as a community. So in response to our COVID-19, we launched our virtual community where families continued to feel connected, supported, and less isolated. Best of all, like Darlene said, we had a lot of parent volunteers and saw an increase in leadership from them. And also we were more accessible for clients outside the Northeast. So we had clients coming from Southeast, Southwest, and the Northwest of Calgary. And then Darlene did discuss this. This is the logo that the parent created for their own Zoom class over the summer.
And we are running only Zoom program now in the for Tuesday, Thursday, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
We did have Mount Royal students and we did have volunteers. I'm just going to show you a video that the Mount Royal student made us. Can you hear it?
We can't see it yet.
Can you see it now?
No.
Hold on, it started, so I'll have to stop share. Just a second. Sorry, I'm gonna have to stop share. I got it playing in the background. The link didn't work. Typical. Hold on a minute.
Would you like me to share?
Yeah, if you could.
Yeah, okay.
Across Cultures project. Welcome to our multicultural classroom, where we play, learn, and grow. Our program offered activities for a parent and their child. We provided parents with workshops and resources, and gave connections to newcomer families. This
mom who comes to the early and help her be more independent and learn to play and participate with other staff.
I get to see my introvert kid make friends with other kids, talk to them, play with them, and learn with them.
Is it working?
He's able to socialize, he's more independent, he learns a lot, and main thing, he is more friendly now.
Me and my kids feel more comfortable. The main thing is the sibling.
Sorry, what was that, Darlene?
Is it working?
Yes, can you see on the screen? Yeah.
Can't hear it.
Okay, we're running a little short on time, so maybe we can just share the link to the video in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop share.
Okay, so this is our contact information. Whoops. Whoop. So this is our contact information. We've gotten all of our registrations done on forms, so parents can link online. They don't need to see us in person. They can email us, and they just have to fill out a Microsoft Forms link. If we have any questions, and I just wanted to put a plug in for the Immigrant Distinction Awards is coming up in October. They do not have to be immigrants to attend. Anyone can attend our wonderful and fabulous Distinction Award. You just have to sign on. Sorry, I'm gonna stop share. ISC likes to get people involved, so if you're going to volunteer within our program, and this is our websites and our programs. So, sorry about that mix-up. I forgot to turn off the YouTube video running behind me. So are there any questions?
Okay, if there's no questions right now, if you're like me, sometimes it takes a little while to process. You can feel free to contact Darlene, Sahar, or myself at any time, and we'll be happy to connect with you.
And just a little shameless plug for Jen, we're just doing our great multicultural thing September 26th. Only their families are coming, but we're going to put some stuff up on the website so we can share it with families when we're done.
Stay tuned. Yes.
Great. Thank you very much, Jen.